Howdy my peeps and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about being disabled while I paint this little drawing that I did in my sketchbook. I'm going to be using watercolors and I'm not painting in my sketchbook because this paper is not compatible with water. But anyways, before we get into all of that, I would like to give a shout out to MK aka Morgan, who's the comment of the week. Thank you so much for your comment. I really like reading all those comments, and if you would like to be the comment of the week, all you have to do is comment on any video. Also, I have a Patreon and an Etsy shop. Links are in the description if you're interested. So, this topic is one that I haven't really known how to approach. And for a while there, didn't even accept the fact that I am disabled. I don't know how long I'll be disabled. Maybe it's for life. Maybe it's just for now. I don't know. But anyways, and I mainly want to talk about how that affects my my art, I guess, my ability to create art in particular, and also my ability to create content online, because for me that's kind of a part of it, because I like to share my art. I like to share the process and, you know, the art itself as well. And since being a little sickly, it's not as easy as it used to be. I've been drawing since I was like 11 or 12, and like drawing and like taking it seriously and being like, oh my gosh, this is something I really like to do and would like to continue to do, and I just kept doing it and never stopped. And I've been making YouTube videos since really 2016, but that first channel doesn't count in my opinion. So I started uploading fairly regularly in 2017. So we'll just use that as a marker. Wow, 6 years? Huh, that's something. I didn't even realize that. Anyways, but last year, a lot of things happened. I'm just gonna say, I don't know what is wrong. This is an awkward topic to talk about, but I want to talk about it because I feel like it helps me when I hear other people talk about this sort of thing, and if me sharing this helps someone, I think that makes being awkward for a little bit and that makes it worth it. But basically, last year I started dealing with some really weird and wacky symptoms. Like I was like really dizzy and really tired and achy all the time, and I went to the doctor a few times for that, and got no answers for that. In fact, one of those doctor's visits was really wild. I got racially profiled, which is a whole nother thing. A lot of weird and wacky things that happened with that particular visit, but without getting into all of that, basically I wasn't getting any answers, and things got really really bad last October, actually, which leading up to that point in October, I had not been uploading regularly, because I just did not have the energy. I was tired all the time, and I was like, why am I so tired? I genuinely thought that I was just being lazy, and I was being like really hard on myself, because I'm like, why don't I just get up and do all the things? And like looking back at it now, it's like, you poor innocent child, you literally couldn't. But it's, hindsight really is 2020, isn't it? But anyways, in October I was attending college full time, also working. I don't think I was uploading regularly in October, if I recall. And I may have also paused my Patreon as well. I can't remember. But basically what had happened was I had this project for school. We had to do like, it was for my English class, and we had like what was it? It was like some type of multimedia, or no, digital media project or something, where we had to take, because we had like this big essay that we had to write at the end of the semester, about like something about the city we live in. And we had like little projects leading up to like the major essay. And for the digital media project, I decided to make a video about the tourist industry in Memphis. And because that was what my essay was about. And I was working on it last minute, which is another thing. I was doing like a lot of my assignments last minute because like I said, did not have the energy for things. And I was dealing with like a lot of like brain foggy stuff. And I was like, I'm just being dusty and crusty. It was like, no, you're not being dusty and crusty. You're just go to bed. But anyways, I was working on it like maybe up until like 11 o'clock or something in the evening. And I was like, wow, I really don't feel good. Let me just go to bed like I should have in the first place. And maybe that will help. So I went to go to bed. And I like to say prayer before I go to bed. I'm a Muslim, so we have like there are 5 prayers a day, and one of those prayers is like before you go to bed. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. And I was standing for prayer, and then I was like, my legs, they feel kind of suspicious. And then I like fell, and I couldn't move for like an hour, and I couldn't talk because I couldn't call for help, and that was terrifying. And that was like the moment that like I knew something was wrong, but that was the moment that I really knew something was wrong, you know? And ever since that day, October 27th, 2022, I've been yeah, I've been a little disabled girly. And I've been going to the doctor to see if I can get some answers for that, see if I can return to somewhat of a normal life, which more recently I have. In the past couple months, I'd say I'm back at work. I need like a lot of accommodations because I that's the whole thing. Like I can't walk sometimes, and I can't like. In theory, I could stand for a little while, but it's not ideal. It really takes a toll on me, and I also can't talk sometimes, which affects my ability to make videos. For a while there, on a daily basis, I couldn't like just every day, my speech would be like very challenged. Like I would stutter a lot and slur my words a lot, and I still do that sometimes. It's not like it kind of just happens sometimes, sometimes without warning. And yeah. Basically this is going through it, and like I said, I am going to the doctor. We don't have any answers for what is wrong just yet, but yeah. I'd say in the past month, I have finally accepted that this is my reality. It's been almost a year, which is wild to think about. I have walkers and a little transport chair that I use to get around sometimes when I need it. And I don't know why when I had to start using those, it didn't clue in. It literally took me this long to like finally be like, you know what? I guess I am, aren't I? Interesting. And I actually met with the disability resource. What do you call it? center, I guess, department. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. The disability department at my college, and I met with them yesterday, and one of the ladies said something that like really resonated with me. I was like, oh, you got that right, sis. Anyways, about how some people it takes them a while to accept that they are disabled, and some people don't even realize that they are disabled, and part of me was not accepting it, and part of me didn't even realize that I am. Like I said, I don't know why I didn't clue in. But I didn't even realize it, and part of it was just like there are people who are in a lot worse condition. I don't know why my sentences are making sense, but like people who are doing a lot worse than I am. And for that reason, I was like, well, whatever I'm going through is not that bad, because there's people out there who are really, really going through it, really in the trenches, and it's not me. But, you know, I think I've come to the realization that even if you're not like doing, like, regardless of what it is, even if it's like, whether it's a disability or not, like, suffering is suffering, and just because someone else is suffering a little more doesn't mean that your suffering is now insignificant or doesn't affect you, because it does. And there's nothing wrong with putting things in context and being grateful for what you do have, and recognizing that you may be in a little better state than others. I don't think there's, because like being humble about it, I guess, I don't know, but I don't think it's wrong to acknowledge that there is suffering outside of your own suffering. But I feel like I'm being dramatic. But I think it's also important to recognize when you are not doing well, whatever that looks like for you. And for me, it's not being able to walk sometimes, or not being able to talk sometimes. And just because it's, air quotes, not that bad in comparison, doesn't mean that it's not something. I feel like that's what I've realized. But I'm realizing now this video is going to be a little longer not a little longer, maybe twice as long than I had anticipated, but that's okay. So this is an art channel. I am an artist, and I think it's a little interesting how all of that has affected my ability to create art on a more consistent basis, as often as I used to be able to, and as often as I would like. I still deal with like a lot of fatigue. I'm a sleepy girly. I'm so tired. And I also struggle with motor skills sometimes. So sometimes I can't I can't like control my hands, basically, to be able to draw. And yeah, so understandably, that does affect my ability to actually sit down and draw. And it is actually quite tiring, I'm realizing, to sit down and come up with ideas for drawings, to have the energy to sit for a while to work on a larger piece. That's like definitely one of the things I've noticed. Like I haven't been able to work on larger projects. There's like some things I would like to do. I want to get into acrylic painting again, like larger acrylic painting. I just don't have the energy for that. So I'm gonna have to hold off on that one. Also, wanting to like do larger watercolor portraits, or just like more involved stuff, or work on larger projects. Like I have that comic which oh my gosh, that comic, is it something I still want to do? Yeah, just don't have the energy for it right now. And it's, yeah, kind of, I'm just very sleepy. And even if it was just, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of an all or nothing type of person, and like for the comic in particular, or writing stuff, I'm kind of like, if I can't do it on a large scale, then I'm not gonna do it at all, kind of. And that's not necessarily the best way to be about things, especially with what I'm dealing with right now. I kind of have to, not kind of, I really have to pace myself with things. I can't take on larger projects, or I just can't do things like that. I also recently came to the realization that I'm not going to be able to be a full-time student. I said student for a moment. I'm not going to be able to be a full-time student this fall, which, that was a rough one. I was like, but I really want to. And it's like, yeah, Amir, but you can't right now, and that's okay. It's literally not a competition with school or with anything else. Like, there's like, it's okay to work at your own pace, basically. I'm realizing that now. That was a rough one right there, I'm not gonna lie. And I still have my days where I'm like, yeah, work at my own pace, but like, what if I could work faster? Or what if I could do more? And I think it's okay to want to do those things, but I'm definitely learning that I need to put things into perspective and be realistic with my goals. It doesn't mean that I have to give up all the things that I want to do. I could still work on that comic. I just wouldn't be able to do, I think, when I was working on it regularly, my output was like 5 pages, either every week or every 2 weeks or something. It might have been every 2 weeks. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've worked on that regularly. And which, even that, the progress on that has slowed before all this happened. But I've definitely had moments where I'm like moments since I've been a little sickly girly. I don't know if you heard that. That was my wrist that made that cracking sound, if you heard it at all. But anyways, that's probably not good. Anyways, I've had moments where I'm like, I really, really, really want to work on that, and I can't remember where I was going at that point. My wrists really distract me. So we're gonna move on. But like, I could still work on that comic. I wouldn't be able to do it at the pace that I was doing it, or would like to do it. I could maybe get a page out every week or two, which is significantly slower, but that's kind of where I am right now. My YouTube channel, oh my gosh, I really wanted to be able to do videos every week, which my YouTube upload schedule has been all over the place recently, but I think I've finally kind of settled on a schedule. I want to do uploads for Patreons, that's not how you say that, patrons, on Saturdays, and for YouTube on Tuesdays. So that's my thought behind this. Even though my banner on my channel still says Saturdays, it's not Saturdays anymore for YouTube. It's Tuesday. It goes up on the weekend for Patreon, and up on Tuesday for YouTube. That's the plan. That's what seems to be working for me right now. Every 2 weeks. So not every week. And that's another thing that's just really interesting, from going from being able to do stuff and to suddenly not be able to do those things. It's really weird to transition to doing less and being okay with doing less, which, like, sometimes I'm still like gosh, but I want to do all the things. And sometimes I do overdo it. Like when I am having days where I'm a little bit better, it is very hard for me to pace myself, and I end up doing too much and having setbacks and things. So that's a whole thing. But what was I saying? I forgot. That's another thing. My memory is like really bad. My short-term memory is really bad these days. I literally cannot remember what I was saying. But anyways, what was I saying? I can't remember. So I'm just going to talk about my upload schedule again. My upload schedule over the years has been kind of all over the place, because not all over the place. I have, like, for years I was fairly consistent. But it took me a while to figure out what worked for me. Early on, I think I would just do a video whenever I felt like it. Transitioned to doing one every week, and then I think I started doing one like 2 a week. I think it was like a Tuesday, Thursday upload, which was a lot. And I was trying my best to keep up with that, and I had to be realistic and be like, Amira, you can't do that right now. Scale back, sis. And I did the 1 video a week upload schedule, and that seemed to really work for me for a while. Last year, oh my gosh, my upload schedule really took a hit, and it was very difficult to do videos because of how tired I was. In the speech, what is it? Anyways, while also doing other things like school and work, it was just very hard to keep up with YouTube. So I took unintended breaks a lot. It would always be like every week I would be like, well, it's time to make the video, and it just never happened. And when I really got sick, that really went out the window. And more recently, I'm trying my best to get back into it, which I've been. Yeah. I'm not as regular as I would like, but I think I have sort of in the last month or so figured out something that works a little bit better for me. I was trying to make my old schedule, like I was trying to fit my old schedule into that 2-week span. No, I wasn't. How was I doing? Hold on. Okay, so how I used to make videos before all of this happened was I would film, edit, upload, and do promotion posts, thumbnails, all that stuff on one day. Usually from like noon to midnight. So I would take a break or two in there to like go eat something or whatever. But I would fit everything in one day. On Friday, have it go up Saturday. Or I would do all of that Thursday, have it go up Friday for patrons, Saturday for YouTube. And that would be a lot, but I would still be able to stay on top of it, even with work, because it's just all on one day. However, I can't keep up with that pace right now, and I was still trying to make that work for me, even though that's not gonna work for me right now. So I think the last video is when I realized what is gonna work a little bit better. It makes a little more sense to just break it up over the course, ideally over the course of 2 weeks, but what I've been kind of doing is at least breaking it up over the course of a few days, to kind of give myself some room to take plenty of breaks, to rest if I need to, which oftentimes I do, and just to not overdo it and be realistic with what I'm able to do right now. But yeah, that's that. This video is much longer than I had anticipated, not gonna lie, and I don't think it has turned out how I expect it. But I haven't really talked about this with anyone outside of people in my family. And even then, I have struggled to talk about it because it's a very interesting thing to go through. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I definitely sympathize with people who deal with things similar or maybe a little worse than what I'm dealing with. And the diagnosis process is long and frustrating. But I'm hoping to get some answers. I was saying soon for a while, but right now I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, I'm not going to be too optimistic, but I'm not going to be too down about it. I'm just going to be like, yeah. I hope we get something at some point, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. That's what I'm going to say. But anyways, I hope you like the drawing. The drawing is a really cozy one. Just a lady on the couch with her cat, and the couch looks really soft and fluffy. But anyways, I hope being open and honest about this helped someone. I kind of treated this format as like a podcast type thing, and I hope that was an okay format. Hope it wasn't too long. Hope you got something out of it. And thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being patient with me while I figure all of this out. Yeah. Yeah. Starting to have issues talking, so I need to hurry up. I've been talking too long. Anyways, shout out to my patrons, Merriment Illustrations, Sister Donna 55, and A Spooky Rose. Thanks so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything that you do. And I hope you'll have an amazing day. Goodbye.